2018 Toyota Yaris Review. The good points of Toyota Yaris. Only hybrid supermini discounted. Practical, spacious interior. Striking design, particularly bi-tone. High equipment levels. The bad points of Toyota Yaris. Noisy engines at high revs. Steering wheel axe adjustment. Infotainment screen glare. Top spec models expensive. This may be the third generation Toyota Yaris hatchback, a 5-door supermini competing at a most fiercely fought segments up against the likes on the ever-popular Ford Fiesta, Vauxhall Corsa and VW Polo, plus the Skoda Fabia, Hyundai i20, Kia Rio and Nissan Micra. Key elements in the Yaris' charm are its practical interior, track record of reliability, plus the ease of use and urban efficiency on the petrol-electric hybrid powertrain. Watch how they are driving a Toyota hybrid. The Toyota is different in this segment in offering this type of system, as being the Honda Jazz is not available like a hybrid. Facelifted boosts Yaris' curb appeal. With 2 significant facelifts within 6 numerous years of its original launch in Britain, the Yaris must run share close in comparison to its physical makeovers. Revisions in 2014 dedicated to transforming the leading and styling, even though the 2017 modifications are particularly obvious on the rear, where horizontal tail lamps are bisected through the hatch, with increased tweaks meant to the front that take it into line while using smaller Toyota Aygo. In total, Toyota offers some 900 fresh elements to the Yaris, although without being highlighted in high-vis yellow, you'd be hard-pressed to recognize them. The interior's been titivated by incorporating new color schemes plus an improved multimedia system, however it still trails a few of its more sophisticated rivals as well as their more responsive touchscreen infotainment systems. It's also worth noting what ceased to be presented post-2017's facelift. Gone will be the diesel engine variants along while using 3-door body style. Sensibly, Toyota's consolidating its efforts about the petrol and hybrid engine 5 doors that sell better. Excellent Yaris safety systems. The Toyota Yaris is one from the safest cars to use class on account of every model coming with driver, passenger, side, curtain and driver's knee airbags to offer a total of 7. Toyota's electronic stability control system also keeps it around the right track during slippery conditions. Anti-lock brakes be employed in conjunction with emergency brake help you apply full pressure within the brakes in critical conditions, while brake force distribution makes certain the stopping power is distributed to where it might best. Be familiar with slow the Yaris as speedily and effectively as you possibly can. Optional from 2015 and standard from your 2017 facelift is Toyota Safety Sense package, bundling together automatic high beam headlights, traffic sign recognition, lane departure warning and also a collision prevention system with autonomous emergency braking. Petrol-powered Yaris has urban-centric performance. The model range is clearly biased towards sense and sensibility as an alternative to fun. However, there's fashionable gazoo racing inspired, that's Toyota's motorsport division, Yaris GRMN with a 212 horsepower supercharged 1.8-litre engine herniated like a sore thumb. With no D4D diesels inside the lineup following a 2017 revisions, it's to choose petrol or hybrid, all geared up for efficiency in urban environs as opposed to driving spirit on more open roads. With 69 horsepower, the 3-cylinder 1.0-litre VVTi could be the slowest on the trio, which has a leisurely 0 to 62 mph duration of 15.3 seconds. Making a much better fist of things would be the 1.5-litre VVTi, replacing small 1.33-litre unit from 2017. That said, its 111 horsepower and 136 Nm of torque still can't receive the Toyota to dip in the 10-second 0 to 62 mph threshold. Most interesting, but only serving people who drive primarily in towns well, may be the 1.5-litre VVTi hybrid, which over 40% of Yaris buyers go for. It comes paired with all the CVT automatic gearbox that's optional within the petrol-only 1.5. Efficiency is king here, so spec the Yaris with smaller wheels for that official claims of 85.6 milligrams and CO2 emissions of just 75 grams/km. The verdict. The Toyota Yaris is one with the most practical superminis for sale, despite its compact dimensions. The mainstream models are certainly not the most exciting to operate a vehicle. Even so, the Yaris is one and the easiest to maneuver, and it's unique in offering a hybrid powertrain in this particular segment. The interior trails its rivals though, however its 2017 facelift has ensured still it looks fresh among a selection of talented new rivals. Review with the Toyota Yaris to ascertain if it should be on the shopping list. 1.5-litre petrol, a noticeable difference over older 1.33. Hybrid is well suited to urban driving. GRMN is an extremely hot hatch indeed. Engines on the market to Toyota Yaris buyers come inside form of petrol and hybrid options. The diesel engines were discontinued once the car was updated in 2017. Petrol engine range. Kicking from the petrol range can be a 1.0-litre VVTi 3-cylinder unit, producing 69 horsepower and 95 Nm of torque. Like all Yaris engines, it's not turbocharged, and this will complete the 0 to 62 mph sprint inside a leisurely 15.3 seconds. It'll carry on to reach 96 mph with the top end. Nevertheless, it's highly unlikely you'll have the chance to make this happen. Best live in town in the event you go for this Yaris. The indisputable fact that the little 3-cylinder 1.0-litre engine thrums away with your enthusiasm helps it be so engaging to rev you almost forget the time it's taking to propel you from the standstill to 62 mph, or, indeed, simply how much damage you're doing on the quoted consumption and emissions figures from the process. All of which helps make the unit most suitable to a predominantly urban environment. Lively, a 1.5-litre petrol. Most immediately appealing proposition for people not al-watchy at ease with hybrid driving styles, and shunning the CVT automatic transmission in preference of an acceptable 6-speed manual change, could be the fresh for 2017 1.5-litre VVTi. It certainly feels the liveliest through performance terms. It'll complete the dash from 0 to 62 mph in 11.0 seconds in 6-speed manual form, 11.2 seconds when you opt to the CVT automatic, as a result of additional useful 111 horsepower and 136 Nm of torque. Both of these versions will reach 108 mph at top speed. Sophisticated it could be in switching between different combustion cycles, Otto and Atkinson in case you're of the mechanical mind. Within the interests of optimizing both economy and satisfaction, it consumes 10% less fuel as opposed to 1.33-litre unit it replaces, while being nearly an additional faster 0 to 62 mph. Nonetheless, it is, however, vocal when you go chasing performance, but not a very pleasing sound too. It's raucous but not very smooth sounding. On the motorway you'll enjoy it for its 6-speed manual gearbox and keep the revs low and noise down, but there's no getting away from your fact you'll want to make good using it should you're planning an overtaking maneuver, or maybe just and keep up with traffic varying in speeds. There isn't a stop-start system provided by either from the conventional engines, reinforcing our view that, as soon as the car leaves the showroom, these systems' jobs, invariably just dropping CO2 using notch or two for taxation purposes, are al-watchy done. Range topping 1.8-litre GRMN. The hottest Yaris variant is pretty unusual inside small car segment because it's powered with a relatively large 1.8-litre engine, boosted by the supercharger in lieu of a turbo. In practical terms this means you advance throttle response plus a much more linear power delivery than smaller engines of the rivals. There's none on the low rev lag and sudden acceleration of the turbocharged motor. Instead, power builds over an appreciably wide band, accepting extra rev from about 3,000 revolutions per minute. Peak torque of 249 Nm comes in at 5,000 revolutions per minute and you've got to stretch the engine in order to 6. 800 revolutions per minute to unlock its 212 horsepower. Sprinting from 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 6.3 seconds, undoubtedly slowed from the need to shift from second to third gear. The manual box is workable but doesn't feel particularly slick, which is really a shame. Given the Yaris's diminutive size and high power output, the GRMN pulls quite hard throughout the rev range. You should drop a gear whenever you want a burst of acceleration. That means you may work the fine chassis quite hard indeed, something we'll expand upon from the handling section. Popular and unique hybrid. Toyota has lavished essentially the most attention about the 1.5 VVTi hybrid variant, but a painstaking take a look at further noise reduction measures will be better received were it not to get a perceived absence of sound insulation, along with the fact which the powertrain still constitutes a fair old bonanza of things should you get within the power so that you can elicit some real progress. Watch how to operate a vehicle, a Toyota hybrid. Under the bonnet is usually a petrol engine mated to an electric motor, producing 100 horsepower and 111 Nm of torque. It's driven through a CVT gearbox, and should be from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 11.8 seconds, sitting between your two regular petrol variants in relation to performance. I could. Successive generations of Toyota's hybrid technology have targeted a better synergy from the rise in engine revolutions and vehicle acceleration. Nevertheless, the truth would be the revs still yell off about the dial a great deal faster compared to speedometer can get up to date. Either you'll mind this, and drive increasingly cautiously in order to prevent the din, or you do simply accept it as a part with the hybrid driving experience. And that's an experience which can be largely very pleasing, while you are not inside a hurry. Acceleration figures will not be great, and feel even slower compared to paper when you try to generate appropriately quiet progress. Do relax, though, and many types of is rather smooth and pleasant. Until, that is certainly, you are looking at braking. Truth is, it doesn't matter how carefully you might try and modulate your use on the soft-feeling pedal. The regeneration system shackled brakes are inclined to become unpleasantly grabby ahead of the car comes into a standstill. Lifting over brake pedal because car comes with a stop inside the manner of an well-taught chauffeur will alleviate this issue with a point, but does need a fearsome level of concentration unbecoming with the rest in the hybrid driving ambience. Toyota went to great lengths to emphasize how long you spend driving a hybrid using the petrol engine turned off entirely, and is particularly now deploying something known as the DriveGo box to help you retailers demonstrate the hybrid system's benefits under actual driving conditions. It seems the careful could find themselves under electrical power only for some 55% with their journey time, along with about 37% in the total distance covered. Lighten to drive. Standard car won't sate keen drivers. GRMN is undoubtedly an absolute riot. Reinforcing its persistence for all things future-proof, Toyota's 2017 dynamic tweaks to your Yaris range have largely been reserved for your hybrid model. It gains advantage from overhauls to top assembly, suspension setup, electrical power steering, drive shafts and engine mountings and side quest for improved handling, ride quality and refinement. In truth, it's tricky to gauge the difference involving the breathed-upon steering from the hybrid model which carried over inside the two conventionally powered variants. Suffice it say, though, which the helm is perfectly accurate, and pleasingly light for low-speed maneuvering and parking duties. As speeds build, however, the quality of communication it includes the driver isn't going to. Keener pilots may need to look elsewhere. Traction levels, too, seem respectable, and the body control through corners is acceptable as opposed to admirable. Lob in a very manual gear change which is not the slickest inside the segment and, though all functions sufficiently, this is not a car which promises greater engagement or entertainment a lot more you press it within the manner of the Ford Fiesta. GRMN model appears the heat. Given the Yaris's design majors on comfort and requirements, you won't be blown away to hear how the GRMN model has experienced to undergo some substantial modification to carry out the way it does. As well as significant additional bracing to stiffen the chassis, The GRMN features top-of-the-range Sachs shock absorbers to be sure maximum grip from all of four wheels, without making the ride unacceptably firm. The whole car sits 24mm, a lesser amount than a standard one. Although that helps combat body roll, it is still a good tall hatchback, and as a consequence you still have to control a bit more laterally movement than in a very more tied-down rival such as a Peugeot 208. Forged 17-inch alloy wheels lessen the amount of weight at intervals of corner, and sit over huge 4-piston brake calipers, effective at hauling the Yaris up with an alarming rate. Most noticeable, however, would be the torsion limiter slip differential, which meets out power between the top wheels, particularly if cornering hard. Put simply, this mechanism allows the leading tires to bite into a turn where an unequipped rival would lose traction and plow straight on. It's the perfect thing to operate a vehicle, the GRMN, with bags of character plus a responsive chassis that feels alive towards the driver's inputs. Surprisingly, it's also quite forgiving, offering up plenty of grip when you invest in a corner right, and lots of chances to fix your line if you don't. Clear and logically presented dashboard. Multimedia screen is affected with reflections. No Android Auto or Apple CarPlay integration. The adoption of a selection of two-tone interior finishes courtesy from the Design by Tone models comes with a welcome lift to interior that, though well made and despite flashes of chrome and piano black, may come across as somewhat yawn-inducing. Build quality are few things an issue, as well as the instrumentation and switchgear layout is often very good. We say generally, considering that the central multimedia touchscreen includes a real issue with glare, especially on bright days. It either wants a cowl or re-angling, making sure that it's simpler to watch. It also feels as though it's closer on the passenger compared to the driver. That may cause problems whenever you want to use it quickly around a move. Navigation instruction itself is also somewhat slow. On every variant we tested, the location around the map would be a little behind reality, and also the nice lady was often calling turns after we'd passed them. The affordability premise of Toyota's Touch 2 multimedia product is entirely laudable, though the system itself is really a little let down by way of a low refresh rate, and with the absence of swankier smartphone integration as offered because of the likes of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Yarises from 2017 onwards benefit coming from a redesigned instrument binnacle using a 4.2-inch screen involving the main couple of dials, offering numerous menus to scroll through, presenting a multitude of data about precisely how the Toyota is performing. It's clear as well as simple to watch, and offers the Yaris a newer feel. There are a few quirks, though. A few controls can be found down around the right from the driver's shin. If you wish to switch something off, such as being the lane departure warning, you should know in which you should be pressing in case you don't desire to take your eyes over road for days. GRMN model gains a couple of highlights. The cabin on the range-topping hot hatch isn't radically different, but there are a couple of key improvements, namely the sporty wheel on the GT86 Coupe. Not only are these claims round, rivals most of the time feature lumpy flat-bottomed versions, it's also purposefully small in diameter and grippy to support onto. The dials are GRMN spec and check very sharp, too. Lack of wheel adjustment restricts comfort. Too much mechanical noise inside the cabin. Ride comfort is okay, but doesn't set benchmark. Hampering the Toyota Yaris's driving position, and therefore impinging on comfort, could be the rather limited reach adjustment towards the steering. This does signify one has to sit down upright to secure a good grip for the wheel. A pity, because otherwise the seats on some Yaris models are impressively comfortable. Sitting inside back, there's sufficient legroom and lots of headroom in spite of the stepped, stadium-style raised rear seat base level. What helps here is usually a completely flat floor along the back, so a passenger within the middle seat won't have to stay with their knees around their ears. The charge of noise entering the cabin is, however, less successful compared to the Yaris's packaging. Weight saving is entirely laudable, yet not, surely, for the expense of cabin quietness, particularly in a very hybrid where a whole lot of attention has become paid to reducing mechanical din. The overall impression is that the best value, more sound insulation in a selection of cars that happen to be all admirably lightweight might stop a bad thing. Engine noise penetrating the cabin verges within the excessive at high revs, both in the conventional 1.5-litre as well as the hybrid. Wind noise levels are high through the door mirrors. The truth is the whole door area, generally speaking, and anything loose within the road surface clatters into the wheel arches. With this sort of racket, one suspects there's little insulation in that room at all. Ride quality, for the other hand, should satisfy most owners. The Yaris behaves itself respectably inside the urban environment, and sleeping policemen are dispatched with reasonable aplomb. But the body's propensity to fidget does rise at higher speeds, and, like a motorway cruiser, the Toyota, though not uncomfortably so, never feels as well planted, being a Polo or Fiesta. GRMN model surprisingly comfortable. While it's a lot slower and firmer as opposed to standard car, you'll notice this most at low speed. About the GRMN's ride settles recorded on fast roads. The problem then could be the increase in road noise. The GRMN's motor is rather buzzy at high speed, and we think this may get a bit draining after a few years. 6 familiar Toyota grades available. Design by tone models are particularly distinctive. High-performance GRMN joins range later. A revised trim-level structure offers to choose 6 grades following contemporary Toyota norms. Active grade will be the entry level, accompanied by Icon grade. Thereafter, grade choices split into technology or aesthetics based routes, Icon Tech and Excel representing the previous, Design and Design by Tone the second. Standard Toyota Yaris hatchback equipment. The Yaris range begins with active trim, coming with 15-inch steel wheels, Toyota Safety Sense, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning and automatic high beam, electric front windows and door mirrors, automatic wipers, Bluetooth phone connectivity, 6-speaker radio with CD player and USB port. Choose a Yaris hybrid in active spec, and you also gain from dual-zone climate control and projector headlights. Move up on the Yaris Icon for the more generous equipment tally. 15-inch alloy wheels, front fog lights, Toyota Touch 2 touchscreen infotainment system with DAB radio, air conditioning, reversing camera, cruise control, traffic sign recognition, leather tire and gear lever. Again, Yaris hybrid models gain additional kit, including dual-zone climate control, a leather handbrake lever and keyless ignition. Next up will be the Icon Tech, which builds on regular Icon with Toyota Touch 2 infotainment system with sat-nav, front parking sensors. Move up again to Design grade, which focuses more about style. 16-inch machine alloy wheels, honeycomb design for leading grille, rear spoiler, different seat fabric, privacy glass, black side sills. For extra curb appeal, the Design by Tone features black roof, pillars and door mirrors, rear LED lights, LED daytime running lights, color-coded dashboard trim, electric rear windows. As using the rest from the range, the Design and Design by Tone come in hybrid form, benefiting from your same extras because Icon hybrid. The Excel sits with the top in the range, with all the following equipment lavished upon it over and on top of the Yaris Icon. Part fabric, part Alcantara, leather seat upholstery, dual-zone climate control, rear LED lights, LED daytime running lights, electric rear windows, automatic headlights, auto-dimming rear view mirror, height adjustment for your passenger seat, chrome side sills, optional Toyota Yaris hatchback accessories. Toyota doesn't offer a lot of options about the Yaris, a few of which are bundled into packs. The following packs can be obtained: Parking Pack, back and front parking sensors. Protection Pack, scuff plates to the door sills, mud flaps and rear bumper protection. Style Packs, a range of blue, red or green exterior design accents. Carbon style sold. An alternative chrome style pack will also be added, including chrome trim for the exhaust, rear fog lights surrounded as well as the side sills. There are some individual options accessible to add to your Yaris, depending for the model you're buying. From Yaris design models or over, it is possible to add a panoramic sunroof along with the Toyota Touch 2 sat-nav system, while leather seats might be added to top-spec Excel cars, as well being a convenience pack which comes with keyless entry and ignition and automatic folding mirrors. Full 5-star rating from Untitled. Improved safety kit from 2017 facelift. Autonomous emergency braking standard. When crash tested with the independent car safety experts Untitled, the Toyota Yaris was awarded a 5-star rating. Since then, stuff has improved further, not least using the standardization from the Toyota Safety Sense package on the 2017 facelift. Once the Yaris was reassessed in the end of that year, it maintained its 5-star status in spite from the test being more rigorous. This signifies that every car comes with an active safety suite having a pre-collision system with autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, automatic main beam and, on models on top of the active entry-level grade, traffic sign assist. The pre-collision system runs on the front-mounted laser to observe the road ahead, warning the motive force of an imminent collision risk and preparing the brakes to control with maximum efficiency the instant the pedal is pressed. If the driving force fails to respond towards the warning, the computer will trigger autonomous emergency braking to slow your vehicle and slow up the severity with the impact. Lane departure alert notifies the driving force with visual and audible warnings when the Yaris actually starts to deviate from the lane without activation in the indicators. Traffic sign assist recognizes signs, for instance speed limits with no overtaking restrictions, presenting them about the multifunction display within the driver's instrument binnacle, activating a stern reminder light and buzzer in the event the speed limit is exceeded. Onboard safety has already been improved from 2017. Rear seatbelts now feature pretensioners and force limiters. The head restraints happen to be redesigned to supply better protection against whiplash injury, and also the shape in the curtain airbags continues to be revised. Child seat installation has ended up made easier with adjustments on the ISOFIX anchoring system. 5-door only from 2017. Not probably the most spacious of superminis. Adequate storage facilities. Small cars have small boots, right? Well, they certainly, but at 286 liters the practicality in the Toyota Yaris is restricted compared having a number of admittedly larger rivals, including the Skoda Fabia and Kia Rio, with 330 and 325 liters of space respectively. Fold the 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat over. Usefully, a floor is virtually flat if you do, along with the capacity expands to 768 liters. Again, it doesn't lead the segment, but, again, the Yaris is daintier than a lot of them. What you won't find in the Toyota are any novel storage solutions or especially clever ideas that don't show up in rivals. Sure, you'll find places for the takeaway coffees, door bins for placing belongings in, a sensibly sized glove box and also a handful of dashboard nooks for slotting coins, cards and smartphones. Not that it would be a gain in practicality as 5-door Yarises were alwachi for sale, but in the 2017 facelift, 3-door derivatives were discontinued from sale. The Yaris does work for passenger space, though. It's taller than most superminis, meaning space within the rear is really quite good. On a long journey there will not be enough knee room, however it's perfectly adequate should you don't mind the upright seats. One on the key points here would be the completely flat floor along the rear, meaning a rear seat passenger won't their very own knees up around their head. The Yaris isn't a major car. In fact, it's probably one in the shorter Super Minis currently discounted, as most of their newer rivals have cultivated in size in all directions. Plus, with fairly flat sides and a lot of glass, it's a breeze to maneuver in tight parking spaces, with good visibility all round. That means you shan't struggle whether you're within the supermarket park your car or squeezing it in the garage. Those large mirrors that create a significant bit of road noise assistance with visibility too, as also does the reversing camera on particular models. If you will want Super Mini which has a big boot, you may wish to look elsewhere, considering that the Yaris's load area isn't one of the most generous whenever you compare it with a few of its closest rivals. The Skoda Fabia offers 330 litres, as the seat Ibiza trumps by investing in 355 litres. Even the rakish Nissan Micra offers 300 litres of boot space, as the 354-litre boot with the Honda Jazz expands to 897 litres with all the seats folded flat. However, the place offered because of the Yaris is square and usable, along with the rear seats are super easy to fold from your back in the car. There's just nothing particularly clever in regards to the load space, without having false floor with regard to added space or extra pockets dotted about.